Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols. All right, so I'm coming up on my 33rd anniversary.
Holy crap, congratulations.
Right? It's coming quick.
Are you old enough to be married 33 years?
I am.
I mean, I was thinking you're not a day over 45, so.
See? That's just the good genes, I guess. Or something.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure that I look much older than that because my wife is actually slightly older than me, and everybody says that I'm several years older than she actually is. So I guess maybe it's the bald head now or something. I don't know. And the gray beard. But 33rd anniversary, right? So, and you think about like how, people ask me, somebody asked me recently, like, how long have you been married? And I was like 33 years coming up here. And, the person's like, I've been married 17, we've been married 17 years and together for 20. And I'm like, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, that's great. It seems much shorter now than of course where I'm at, but I hope that so many people can reach this level. And, my wife and I are still kind of chasing each other. And so that's good, right? But
keep it down.
Part of the way that we've done that over time, and this ebbs and flows as far as a practice, but is to make sure that we have date night.
Yes.
And, we ran into this. We both been working on master's degrees for a bit here, and I wrapped mine up over the summer. But, we had bought into a theater membership and noticed the credits building up because they roll over. And so I was like, over the summer, I was like, we haven't gone to the theater in like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And these credits are built up. Like, let's start going on some dates. And so like we went to the theater and started seeing some movies, and then you see the trailers and you start thinking about what you want to, see that's coming up. Cause I don't really see all that stuff if I'm not in a theater.
True.
I'm just not hooked up in social media quite on all those things.
Me either.
But I'm really bad with popular culture. But I love the movies. And now they have these movies, right? Like they didn't have this one 33 years ago or 35 years ago when we started dating.
Yeah.
They didn't have this so much. But now you can go to the theater and like you just push a button on your reclining chair that has the heater. Ooh. And you can order food. Like they just come to you and you order food and then they bring it to you. And so we can have dinner and a movie. And because we're members, it's discounted.
Sure.
So it doesn't cost any more than going to a restaurant. But we also get a movie.
Yeah.
And it's been so great. Like we've gone every week or 2 weeks to see a movie and we still have credits.
Yes.
Because it's been so long. But that's been a lot of fun. And it's been a real release, like especially for my wife that, we just go there and we have dinner and we see the movie and we talk about it and there's nothing else interrupting us going on. These days our phones know that we're there and so they just automatically go into a sleep mode or a do not disturb. And it's been wonderful. And I just think that as I reflect on the 33 years, that those have been the times when we've done date nights that have produced some of our best times in our marriage. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, reconnecting in that way frequently is a good thing.
Relationships are hard.
Sure.
They are work. And I shared this before, so it's nothing new, but relationships are like a bank account.
Yeah.
You got to put deposits in before you can start making withdrawals, because if you do withdrawals way more than you put in deposits, you're going to be overdrawn.
Right.
And like with a bank account, relationships can go bankrupt.
Yep.
And so, these date nights are putting in deposits to make that relationship have a good foundation for the withdrawals of life.
Yeah. I will say that, we started out our marriage. I was 19, she was 20. So now you can know the age. Mm-hmm. And she, we started that out very early And before we got married, more like when I was 17, 18, we talked about marriage, and we talked about what we wanted for marriage and kids and all kinds of stuff, things that 17, 18-year-olds don't talk about.
Not normally.
Almost like what you would do if you went to a professional marriage counseling, but
Sure.
kind of on our own. And, we made a commitment to never discuss or never bring up the word divorce.
Okay.
And so we've never done that. We've never brought that up. We've never considered it. But, it's not all rosy every minute
No.
of 33 years, right? So we have had our struggles. But I will say that the times of struggle came when we didn't pay attention to each other.
Makes sense.
Right? When we didn't spend time together, when we didn't intentionally schedule, and you think, well, that's not romantic. You shouldn't have to intentionally do it. Well, life is busy, right?
Sure.
And so you have to make the room to keep fostering that relationship.
As you say that, again, I went down this rabbit hole 15 years ago because of my divorce.
Sure.
And I have, tried to better understand, why did my marriage go so badly? Mm-hmm. And how can I keep that from happening again? And so I've invested a decent amount of time trying to better understand relationships.
Right.
Because my mom and dad, until my dad passed away a few years ago, they had 62, 63 years of marriage.
Yeah.
And they made it look so freaking easy.
Sure.
I now know that it was anything but easy. And in my first marriage, as well as in my marriage to Sherry now, there's a lot of ups and downs. But we took the concept of the bank account, and we do that. We try and spend time.
Right.
And so, interesting as you bring this up, because I ran across an article, and they were talking about relationships and, secrets to a happy couple and stuff like that.
Wow.
And so they referenced a 2015 Reddit thing that was put out there. I don't do Reddit. I don't even really know what Reddit is, in truthfulness.
Okay.
But they talked about this thing called the 2-2-2 rule. And they said every 2 weeks, plan a date, like what you're talking about, a date night.
Okay.
Every 2 months, go away for a weekend.
Okay.
And every 2 years, take a week-long vacation.
Wow.
And these are not necessarily family. These are you and your significant other.
Okay.
Because by doing these little things, you're making those deposits into that relationship account for when times are tough, when the kids are stressing you out, the work is stressing you out, extended family is stressing you out. With Sherry's mom living with us, it's a huge stress, and it's a big challenge for us to be able to get away, to go see the movie. I want to say it was this past summer was the last time we got out to go see a movie.
Yeah.
Now, lucky for us, things go from the movie theater to the television stream. So,
Yeah.
But
But it's not the same,
no,
right?
it's not. It's not. There's something magical about getting out, holding hands as you walk into the theater. You get your popcorn or your snacks or your drink or your meal, and you're sitting there, and you're reclining in those chairs, because it is like being in your house, but you're not in your house.
Yeah, it's like other things. Like during COVID, I worked from home.
Yeah.
That was not the same as when you go to the office.
No.
So, when you're in a different environment, I think it gets more relaxing. I think that's probably why they say go away.
Uh-huh.
Because you get away from the things that actually stress you out. Mm-hmm. And then you get to refocus on each other.
And that, I think, is the concepts that you're talking about, the things that, this 2-2-2 rule is talking about. You have to get away from your normal life, get away from work, get away from kids, get away from your extended family, like in ours, her brother, her sister, her kids, her mother, all live within a few short miles of us. And sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's a real pain in the tail end. And I mean, I wouldn't change it.
Sure.
But at the same time, while it has a lot of benefits, it also has a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And those challenges can push that relationship to a breaking point. And having those date nights, having that time together where you're strengthening that relationship gives you, what shall we say, the background to have those negative moments, that you're not going in the red on that relationship account.
Yeah. I will say that my wife lights up when I plan something like a date night, and I can tell her way in advance. It doesn't have to be a surprise, but, because she's got a schedule. It can be like, on Friday night, you want to go out to the movies. Oh, yeah, of course, I would love to do that, right? So then she'll make sure she has the time for it. I said, you know what? I think we're going to do this trip for our anniversary. And, of course, it involves, a certain place with a mouse. So she's all about that. So
yes.
We'll do that. I think there's things that, those things are important to do to make sure that you have that time out of the house in another place to experience something together and focus on something. And sometimes it's just a restaurant. Mm-hmm. We like to eat outside.
Yes.
Al fresco.
Yes.
And so we like to go to places that have outside seating, and we can relax and enjoy whatever's happening around us, even if it's crowds of people, and just talk. And that reduces stress in our marriage. It facilitates communication, which is so important.
Amen.
And, strengthens us a bit. So I think that, that's really important. So there's a second part of this that I wasn't looking at your article, so I don't know if that's in there, but I want to say that what I have experienced in my own life is that when I do things for her, with her in mind, that really helps as well. And I'm sure she does the same thing, right? I know she does things with me in mind, but I can only talk from my perspective, right?
Sure.
So, when I come home with just a little thing of flowers from the grocery store, she loves it.
Yeah.
And it really just lets her know that I was thinking of her. Then, if I just do the dishes, she doesn't have to, because it's not her job per se in our relationship. So I just make sure that I can do some little things that ease up her load and free up her to maybe even spend some time focusing on me. Sounds selfish, but that's not the motive, but it tends to be the result.
I think that relationships require, it's a collaboration, a cooperation. It's not all one person give and one person all take. It needs to be a blend of give and take. And it's not, in the little things, I will say, how they talk about the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
It's not one or two or three big things. It's 100 small things.
Right.
So it's not one big gesture that saves the marriage. It could be 100 small gestures that save that relationship. And so by, a little act of kindness, a little act of unselfish behavior can, go a long way. And it's something that I witnessed my parents do.
Yeah.
And I never really appreciated the value of all those little things when I was married to Eric's mother. I mean, I would try a little here, a little there, but I just figured, well, if the intention is there, then that's good enough. Well, surprise, it required a lot more. And so with my relationship with Sherry, I'm trying to be more deliberate
Right.
more mindful of, you know what, the trash is getting full. Just go ahead and take it out. And don't make a big production about it.
Yep.
You know, even if she doesn't say anything, odds are she did notice.
Yeah.
Because odds are, if you don't take it out, then she'll say, why didn't you? And it's kind of like, well, because I didn't feel like it. Well, it really takes, 60, 90 seconds to pull out the bag of trash, put in a new trash liner, and walk it out. So it's a little bit of effort on my part, but in our case, I got to walk out to, a lot of times I'll take the trash out when I'm headed out the garage to go somewhere.
Right.
Well, all right, so I'm adding an extra 15, 20 steps to go out to the trash can at the edge of the curb and back to the car.
Such a tough life there.
Oh, God, yes.
Tough life.
Yes. But at the same time, what does that help? Same way with, there's a couple of dishes there at the sink. Wash them up, throw them in the dishwasher. How hard is that?
Exactly.
But yet it makes the kitchen counter look a lot cleaner. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of...
One of the things that my wife stressed early in our marriage, or said early, was, she doesn't like clutter. She doesn't like messes. It stresses her out. And so that's an easy thing for me, right? Like, I'm always washing the dishes, whatever's there. And I actually like washing dishes. It's something and I'll hand wash a lot of them because it's just relaxing, right?
Okay.
To me, I think I've heard that from other people, but it's relaxing overall. But it also helps her relax.
Okay.
And so it's easy, right? I mean, it's just the two of us, right? Like when we had 3 kids at home, that was a much bigger chore. And of course, I would want to have my kids take part in that chore.
Yeah. Builds character.
To learn that, right? To learn how to do all that. But now it's just us. And so that brings a different challenge, that you have to still focus on each other. You have to have meaning beyond being a parent. But that has to go back to, why did we get married, right? We actually loved each other. So we need to continue that.
It is so easy for a person to become complacent in that relationship.
Sure.
That you take for granted that other person, and you can easily forget the little things that made you love them.
Right.
Or the little things that you did that made them love you. And I think that when relationships end, many times it's because of these little itty bitty things that we have done to create animosity. We've just, a little withdrawal. And next thing you know, they get frustrated.
Yeah.
And of course, it's tough to have that conversation, because tied in with all of this is the ability to communicate.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both reading, I think you're way further ahead than I am, on a book about how to have tough conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that in my marriage to Eric's mom, we never really did.
Yeah.
Tough conversations were hard to have because I didn't know how to really broach it, and she didn't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's something that needs to be addressed and you don't address it, well, that's like not putting a Band-Aid or some kind of salve on a wound. It's just going to sit there and grow and fester and get infected, and you go from a little cut to now you got to lose a limb.
And one of the issues with that is, that you can read in the book is I'm sure you've come across it, is safety, right? And so tough conversations are easier to have when the parties in the conversation feel safe to talk about it.
Yes.
And so when people are like, I don't want to talk about it, what the message there is, I don't feel safe to talk to you about it. And so if you're building your relationship in a way that has, that builds that comfort and safety in, then when a tough conversation comes up, it still might not be super easy.
Yeah.
Because there's emotions and things involved, but you can do it in a manner that feels safe, right? You can trust the other person that things aren't going to fall apart. we had that commitment that we would never talk about divorce. We had some pretty tough conversations. I won't say that we ever like had a knockdown, drag out fight. Like that never happened for us, but we got angry.
Yeah.
And we got heated, and we just never said the word. I actually truly believe that had we said the word, we might have gone down that path.
Yeah, and it's...
Because that removes the safety. It says, I'm done, I'm out. I can just drop you.
And I don't know that you can ever truly drop that person.
You can't.
And I mean, you can get remarried, and you can do all kinds of things, but you tied your life to that person. And when you break it, it's not a true break.
Yeah,
you rarely, especially if you had children together, but even if you didn't, you still have memories.
Yeah.
And there's
an intimacy that will never go away.
No.
And a familiarity that will never go away.
Well, as you talk about that, I have to share, one of my sisters just got remarried. Mm-hmm. She got remarried to her ex-husband.
Oh, cool.
And when they were married, they had a very challenging, let's rephrase that. Their definition, the way that their marriage worked for them was not one that I thought would work for me.
Sure.
At the end of the day, ultimately, it did not work for them, and they got divorced.
Okay.
And I was not there for a lot of this because, I've been living down here, and my sister lived up in Kansas still. But she said that over time, that gap between them, by not living together, gave them a different perspective of each other, and they actually truly fell in love with each other, possibly for the first time.
Right.
And so she said now they have a much deeper relationship, one where it is safe to have those tough conversations when necessary.
Right.
And so I applaud her for being able to do that, because I don't know how many people get divorced and then remarry their ex-spouse.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of that a few times in my life, and I think that's great. Right? Mm-hmm. That's excellent if you can rebuild that and have that trust and safety. But so often you hear of people more who get divorced, and then they get remarried, and then they get divorced, and then they get remarried, and they get divorced. And it's a pattern because they're not dealing with the issue.
No, they're not having those tough conversations, and it's easier to quit than it is to talk it out. And I will argue that having those communications are more important, and they are more fulfilling, because at the end of the day, if you can have that good conversation, then you're going back to what I said at the beginning. You're putting a deposit in your relationship.
Yeah.
Especially when you can come to, okay, I hear you. You know what? Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Yeah, I really did screw up there. I should have done something differently. You know what? I can do something differently going forward. And I just think that, and I've thought about this a lot recently, is that, they say that the honeymoon ends. Yeah.
And, it'll never be quite the same as that or something, but I say, why?
Yeah.
Why? I have moments where, I have the same feeling as I had at that moment. And that comes usually when I'm doing things like, let's go on a date. Let's go do the things. Remember, we used to do that when we were dating, when we were first married before kids, when we still did it even when we had kids, right? Mm-hmm. Some people actually were kind of critical of us for having our kids go to like the grandparents. So
really,
it's, because evidently we did it often. But 33 years later, and I'm still sitting here married. So I can't argue with the method. So I think it's important. And, our kids are really strongly involved with us. Nobody's drifted away. Some have moved further away.
Right.
But we're still pretty close. So I am very thankful for my family and my wife and the things that we've been able to accomplish. But I think that if I'm going to point to how did we do that, it was that we kept dating.
And that's, again, yes, I guess I'm repeating myself now by saying that, with the dates, that's your deposits. Yeah. And it makes all the difference. A good relationship makes life happier, more fulfilling, more enriching.
Yeah.
And I completely agree. Sherry and I may not always get the date night every 2 weeks. We don't always get the weekend away every 2 months, but we do get weekends away.
Yeah.
We recently went up to go see Eric, and that has become, well, my dad too, now that he's passed away, but it's now become I don't want to say a fun adventure, but it has become, we get to see friends, we get to see family, and it's a little bit of a party.
Yeah.
And so it's a nice getaway for us. And we went to Hawaii last year. I don't know if I told you this, but we booked a trip for the summer of 2027.
Wow.
It is.
That's some planning.
Oh, yes. Well, yeah, given what it'll cost us. But it is a Mediterranean cruise.
Nice.
With an added 3 days in the eternal city of Rome.
Nice.
So I
love Rome.
I've never been, but I'm super geeked about going.
Yep.
But by doing these things, we're putting in a deposit onto our relationship.
And it has something to look forward to, right? So when I tell my wife on a weekend, hey, on Friday night, we're going to go out to a movie. Mm-hmm. Is that okay? And she's, of course, right? And now she's got something to look forward to all week.
Yes.
When we say, oh, we're going to go on a trip in a couple months. Right? And I just bought the airline tickets. Oh, great. Like she can see that in her app on the phone, right? Like, and that gives her something to look forward to. So when you come up to the stressful times, it's like, well, I can get through this because I've got that thing coming. Yeah. And I think that part of why I wanted to bring this up now is that, we're in the throes of holiday season.
Yes.
And we have the fall season coming into winter, depending on where you live. It's pretty decent here at this time of year.
Yeah, we get 1 to 2 weeks of cold weather.
Some ideas, some things that we've done, like instead of turning that TV on at night, we just go for a walk.
Okay, yeah.
And talk. And so it doesn't have to be, we got to go spend money, right, to do the date. Mm-hmm. No, we can go for a walk. We go to a park. We can go down to the downtown area where we live and just kind of walk the shops and talk. We can go to a restaurant, or, we might take a weekend away or whatever. But there's so much opportunity, I think, during the holiday season. I mean, we have cities that we go to see the lights.
Oh, yeah. Living here,
all that stuff is fun to see, even if you don't necessarily celebrate. So it's a lot of fun, and I look forward to that time of year, and it's a really good time if you're not having that kind of a relationship to start it, because it's easier to find things to do.
It's never too late.
So
it's never too late. And
I just want to encourage people to do that.
Well, yeah. And I'm glad, because it's a nice reminder that to help us keep in mind, why did we fall in love with that individual? Why did we create that relationship?
Yeah.
Because we liked them, and we still like them. And even if they annoy us, well, I like to say I'm an acquired taste.
I was going to say, I hope you were talking about how you annoy Sherry. And not
yes.
Sherry.
Oh, yeah. She rarely annoys me. So. It's usually the other way around. But yeah, it is. And so it's stuff that we know. Yeah. I think as adults, we know these things, but we can sometimes allow life to get in the way. We can allow the challenges and burdens that life throws at us to weigh us down and take away these reminders that take a breath, step back, and enjoy that person that you thoroughly appreciate them.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're listening, we'd love to hear your comments.
Oh, yes, please.
What are the date nights that you do? What are the things that you do to that you would recommend for me to do, or what would be some things that would allow that conversation and experience together, just the two.
Hey, okay, thank you for putting in just the two, because
see how that plays out. So.
I was going to have to put in a disclaimer about no pineapples or gnomes included.
Oh, geez. You didn't need to go there. So yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear your comments about, what the date nights are that you do.
All right. Sounds good.
That's all I got. So,
love it. Well, thank you very much. And I guess that will do it for us today.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All righty. I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.
Bye.